So the Nachash was going to continue the Misilatyesharim, still in the first chapter, which is again the Chovat Ha'adam B'olamo, what's the duty of man in his world, and we're going to continue from the paragraph that begins Ve'im Ta'amik Od Be'inyan. So Ve'im Ta'amik Od Be'inyan. So if you're going to continue further exploration. Tir'eh ki ha'olam nivra l'shimush ha'adam. This is a very big concept. This is a concept that is going to actually define why a person has to read the Misilatyesharim, why he has to do what he's about to do, why he has to conduct what's called chishbon hanefesh, self-introspection, retrospection, whatever you want to call it. He needs to milfashfesh ba'asav. Why does he need to do all these things? He says because the world was created l'shimush ha'adam. The entire world is contingent, is hinging upon the Yehudi's actions. And it's all created for his use. The cow was created so that he could do proper shchita, mitzvah. So that he can make a baracha, mitzvah. Connection back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like we've been speaking. All these mitzvot are ways to connect back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the entire world is created for a shimush. Umnam, regardless, hine hu omed b'shikul hagadol. He's standing between two great weights. He's on a scale. So in the concept shir we spoke about like this. We said that there is two sides to the scale. There's the me, which is the ego side, and then there's the ma. Ma is the humility. Right? We spoke about ma anachnu, what are we? But ma also represents the shlemut adam, because ma is the numerical value of the word adam. So on two sides of the scale, on the scale, as the me goes up, the ma goes down. As the ma goes down, the me goes up. Right? So it's a converse relationship. So the more a person goes after the inyanim of this world, he's going to be mitrahek. He's going to go farther away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is the big musar that the person has to understand. Every time he does Chas v'Shalom again, I say the word Avirah, but now we know with the Ramchal, he's not calling it Avirot, he's calling it Mitrachkim, he's calling it things that further you away from God. Again, he uses that word because we understand it as Avirah, but there are some things that are not Avirot per se. It's completely kosher, but it's not appropriate. For example, Shchita, you shechted a proper animal, everything's great with it, but he overeats. So everything was kosher with what he did, but the idea, the end result wasn't so kosher, and in fact, that end result caused him to be further away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, if he is mekalkel himself, if he damages himself, he's not only damaging himself; he's actually damaging the entire world that is associated to him. This is again we spoke about in the concept shiur. Noach. It says that Noach gathered the animals into the teva. So the Chazal say, how did he know which animals, where the animals coming from? So everybody else brings down that the animals were actually Noach's animals. They were the bria, they were the creation that was associated to Noach. Like every person has a certain part of teva, a certain part of nature, trees, grass, animals, whatever it may be. There's associated to him, and the more he elevates himself, which means, what does it mean elevating yourself? It means that the closer you get to the ma side and the less of the me, right, that you have, the creation also starts to elevate that in that fashion. But and if he conquers, if he controls, again, we're not looking to kill off the ego. We use the word sholet. Sholet means to control, to harness the ego. He uses the things in the world that Hashem gave him, his nature, in order to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he uses the world only as a stepping stone, only as a means by which to get closer to God. So he and the nature and his chelek go up together. This is what it means in the Pirkei Avot. What chelek? It's the chelek that they've been predestined to take with them, their nature and their concepts, and all that is part of their chelek.
מה שאמרו חכמינו זכרם לברכה בעניין האור שגנזו הקדוש ברוך הוא לצדיקים.
So this idea of the Bria was able to go up and this actually is it's not a new concept. It's an overall old concept. It's a concept that Hashem created the world with. He hid the light, meaning he inserted into the creation a desire to be elevated. Everyone wants to come to Kodesh Baruch Hu. This is the famous drash with the waters, right? The waters ha'elyonim, waters tachtonim. That when Hashem created the worlds, the waters from upstairs had to separate. So we're going to have waters upstairs and you have waters downstairs, meaning waters in Shamayim. Right? Like Rashi says, Shamayim, Shamayim, right? And waters downstairs. But the waters downstairs said, Hashem, it's not fair. We want to be close to you. And long story short, Hashem ends up telling them that because of their sacrifice and their love of Kodesh Baruch Hu, that they will be on every Mizbeach as the Brit Melach. Okay, but anyway, be that as it may, you see that the Teva wants to do Hashem's bidding. Look at the frogs in Mitzrayim. Similar thing. It says the Chazal tells that Hanani, Mishael, and Zariah that they were thrown into the furnace, gave the life from Kiddush Hashem. Where did they learn this concept? From the frogs. Okay, so you see that Teva wants to go, but the Teva is contingent upon man. So if man is destructive, so he destroys not only himself, but he destroys the Teva also. This is what it says by Cain, that Hashem had to put a sign on him, on his forehead after he killed Hevel, because if not, the Teva was out to get him. They said, hey, you just destroyed us, you ruined us. The ground wants to take revenge, the birds want to take revenge. You brought, this is another, again, concept in this idea, is that this is what the Nachash was so hating against Adam Rishon. So Nachash was very angry at Adam Rishon. Why was he so angry at Adam Rishon? He was angry because he said, wait a minute, Adam, I'm just as smart. It says the Nachash was Arum, he was very wise, he was wisdom. Because I'm part of nature, and I have to wait for this Adam, this fallible human being, to rectify me. I don't want to do it. So anyway, so be that as it may, so there's a few examples of how you see that man controls Teva, right? So Ramchal tells us that this organus, this hidden light, right, it's what is it? It's the desire of nature to serve man. So he tells us the example from the Gemara Hagigah. וכיוון שראה הקדוש ברוך הוא אור שגנזו לצדיקים שמח. So when Hashem saw this light that was hidden for the tzaddikim, again, what is it? It's the hidden desire of nature to serve them, to serve the people, right? This is why it says Hashem to hide it. Why? Because if he didn't hide it, everyone would say, oh, look, I'm the master of nature, I'm the ruler, so all it's going to do is feed people's ego. If people would know this on the first shot, right, it'll just feed their ego, and it's counterproductive, right? So what Hashem does is he hides this concept, and it causes simcha, and he was sameach. So it's an interesting idea that Gemara Brachot says that kol ha-sameach chatan v'kala, right, is mitbarech b'chamesh berachot. Interestingly, the word sameach and chamesh have they have the same letters. What's the idea? Just a quick idea. So we know that the idea of chamesh is the letter hey, right? And so we know that there's two heys in the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Yud and then a hey is the first hey, and then a vav and then the second hey. The last hey is us. It's the receiving hand of the ani, of the poor person. That's Am Yisrael, Dal, right? We're poor, right? We're poor because we're not connected to Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Shechina, the idea that we spoke about earlier, that Hashem wants to reside within us, right? So when there's a disconnect between Hashem's residence within our mind and body, right? Then we are called ani. But Hashem says when you are misamech chatan v'kala. Who's chatan v'kala? So the Sfar Kedoshim bring down chatan and kala is what's called Am Yisrael and the Shechina and Kudsha Berichu. The idea of that whenever you connect, you are the kala and Hashem is the chatan, and when you connect that, Hashem gives you the 5 berachot. What's the 5 berachot? So the 5 berachot there are 5 levels of the neshama, right? It's what's called naran chai. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya v'Chida. So those are the 5 levels that a person who is attaching himself to Kodesh Baruch Hu is connecting. He's misamech chatan v'kala. How is he misamech chatan v'kala? He's joining in the simcha. So the person gets a simcha when Hashem is his kavod is shown in the world, is revealed in the world. That simcha that he is misamech with this chatan, quote unquote chatan, which is really Kadosh Baruch Hu, and the kala, which is Am Yisrael, right? He's happy for the Jewish nation whenever Akash Baruch Hu reveals His hand in them, right? So he is blessed with Chamesh. He is blessed with receiving these 5 levels. שנאמר אור צדיקים ישמח. The light of the tzadikim, right, will cause a enjoyment. Again, simcha is not it's not like a fleeting joy. It's a simcha. It's something that is it's a constant, right? It's a renewed chukah, which is like a desire for Hashem. ובעניין אבני המקום שלקח יעקב אבינו ושם מראשותיו אמרו. So regarding the stones that Yaakov took when he went to rest, right? That we know all the stones wanted to be mishamesh at the tzaddik. So as he says, אמרו. אמר רבי יצחק מלמד שנתקבצו כולה למקום אחד הייתה כל אחד אומר על נא יניח צדיק ראשו. So again, we see from here an example that the stones said, Hashem, we want to be the ones that this Yaakov, this tzaddik, is going to rest his head on. So we want to be the ones that are going to be mishamesh tzaddik. והנה על העיקר הזה חיירנו זכרנו לברכה במדרש קהלת. So now again a similar case, a similar idea, just to hit on the point from the Midrash in קהלת שאמרו, the rabbis told us, זה לשונם, this is their exact לשון. ראה, see with your own eyes, את מעשה אלוקים. Look what God did. Look. Just so you understand how important man is. בשעה שברא הקדוש ברוך הוא את אדם ראשון, God created אדם, נטלו וחזירו על כל ענייני גן עדן ואמר לו. So he took him and he showed him all the trees and he said like this, ראה מעשי כמה נעים ומשובחים הן. Look how amazing בריאה is. Look how amazing the creation is. It's unbelievable. And for who is it all? וכל מה שבראתי בשבילך בראתי. I built it, I created it, I formed it, whatever you want to, whatever level בריאה יציר עשייה, all for you, for your שימוש. תן דעתך שלא תקלקל ותחריב את עולמי. Be very cautious not to make yourself go farther away from me, because when you do, so does the Bria, and that's going to cause a kilkul. Kilalo shedavar. This is an overall concept, overarching concept. Ha'adam lo nivra ba'avur matzavo ba'olam hazeh, ela ba'avur matzavo shu b'olam haba. Man was created for what? For what purpose? For the ultimate purpose. For the day when his guf and his neshama will be rectified as one unit. That's called Olam Haba. You should know that in that time, the guf will no longer be, the neshama will no longer be subservient to the guf. The guf will be what it was always meant to be, a vehicle for the neshama. אלא שמצבו בעולם הזה הוא אמצעי למצבו בעולם הבא. So we saw this word אמצעי before, as a middleman, but it's also a temporary status. אמצעי. The body in this world, the way it is constructed with ta'ava, with lusts and desires and ego, it's only a temporary stage. That wasn't the end all be all. That's a temporary stage in order for the person to work on the midot, to work on his character traits. He works on his character traits, he ingrains in the guf a specific amount of kedusha, of holiness. All of a sudden that guf is no longer the same guf. It elevates itself to become a holy spiritual vessel, and now the neshama can function in its entirety, because so long as the guf remains physical, even an iota of physicality, the neshama has to remain quiet and buried within the guf. But when the guf itself becomes only a means of transportation, then the neshama can